Hey everybody, Laura Eisenhower here. Hope everybody's been doing great. I just got back from Hawaii. I was there for about a week, and I'm just glad to be putting this out there. I tried to do this sooner, so thank you for your patience. But I'm getting to it just in time because tomorrow we have a full moon in Libra, and that's going to be at about 4:12 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And full moons are really just about heightened awareness, the illumination of, energies. It's, basically like the climax of the lunar cycle. And it kind of represents culmination, kind of like a building of energies that, reveal themselves. And it can also represent crisis. Full moons are, kind of known for, just having a really powerful influence, over, people. And, we can see things, more clearly. So the new moon is much more about planting seeds and, really grounding and anchoring ourselves and holding visions and intentions. And the full moon is, kind of revealing where we are with all of it. If we had a really ungrounded experience during the new moon or we weren't able to focus, sometimes the full moon shows what we need to rebalance or heal or address. Because really our dreams and visions are usually very connected to our missions or, different goals that we have that are really near and dear to us. And, some things might not be in our best interest though. And there's greater forces at work that are always trying to keep us on track with, what's most important. So there's a lot that is pointing towards partnerships and relationships. And, by the time tomorrow rolls around, or maybe you're already feeling it, you might just see some major truths reveal themselves about yourself, about how balanced you are, because that's also ruled by Libra, things like balance, harmony, justice. So, checking in with our own internal balance will be coming up, also how we are relating to others, what is the health and quality of our relationships, friendships included, business partnerships, anything that is a relationship. And there's many different types of relationships and significant others as well. So there might, be some things that create some sort of tension and conflict. And I'll talk a little bit about, the energies that are hitting the full moon. But, it's definitely a time to rebalance and communicate to the best of our ability to steer things in a really positive direction. This full moon actually comes with what's called a T-square. And squared aspects are aspects that represent challenge or friction. And this squared aspect is with Saturn, the South Node, and Pluto in Capricorn. And the moon is opposing the sun, which is in Aries, and that's conjunct Uranus. So let's start first, though, with the sun conjunct Uranus. Uranus is a very powerful planet. It gives us the shocks and upheavals we need to awaken. It is the planet that helps us to find our sovereignty and helps us to understand unity consciousness. It encourages our uniqueness and us having like a heightened sense of awareness about, things beyond the box, things that we've been, taught. So what's very interesting is, with the full moon, which is opposite that, the aspects it's making is hitting the South Node and Pluto and Saturn, which is pretty wild because Uranus helps to set us free from the energies of Saturn. So every time we notice the limitations coming through from Saturn, we have this support from Uranus that's helping us to kind of like break free or cut loose. And the thing is, we don't get rid of Saturn, we want to enlighten Saturn. And there's a lot of aspects that are going to be playing out that are doing just that to, shift the paradigm, going from sort of the old paradigm Saturn to the new paradigm Saturn, which is a lot more about us being teachers and masters, utilizing the law of structure, which Saturn represents, and allowing it to create a container where we can thrive in instead of a container that we feel is controlled or compromised, which is how it's been with the old paradigm energies. So the South Node represents the past, and it represents things that are kind of habitual and sort of ingrained in us. And with the South Node in the sky being next to Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, we get to sort of look at, what attachments are we still holding to old paradigm energies, particularly in terms of relationships? Do we still feel under like a patriarchal programming? Do we find certain behaviors coming up in us that we were taught that we might have learned from the school system or television, or even certain things that our parents might have passed down to us? Or, you know, different distortions of the masculine and feminine that have, you know, made us feel, you know, somewhat limited. Well, as we reflect on that, the beauty is that the power of Pluto is all about transformation and alchemy. And so we really are changing the lead of Saturn into gold so that Saturn vibrates on, you know, a much higher level. And that's really what this ascension is all about. And this particular full moon is really powerful in helping us to see where we are still attached to old paradigm energies, to the stuckness, you know, that Saturn can bring. It'll also help us to see what our responsibilities are, the things that we want to, you know, hold a discipline about. You know, it might be a certain diet that we want. It might be, you know, regular exercise. It might help us to redefine, you know, our missions and, you know, recognize the things that have been standing in the way. So, you know, Saturn and the whole alchemical shift that's going on, you know, we want to embrace, but we have to let go of the old hooks and attachments and things that relate to programming. Because if we think about the moon and the artificial aspect of the moon, it also relates to the Saturn moon matrix and this AI thing feeding into the moon that's been impacting our junk DNA that's been, you know, unconscious to us. And now that the ether is available, because the sun started to move through the 13th sign in 2010, which is the only zodiac sign ruled by the ether, it's actually healing the mitochondrial DNA, which is connected to the ether. So I know that's a little wordy, but the whole deal is that on a cosmic level and earthly level, ascension is happening. And we experience these different energies to grow and to transform and to be a part of that. But we're dealing with a matrix that wants to distract us and wants to take advantage of our vulnerability when we're going through huge initiations, and it gets us, you know, kind of stuck. And then we miss out on, you know, what the universe and, you know, the earth energies are providing, which always helps us to grow. So as stuff kind of comes up to the surface, you know, just kind of ask yourself, where is that coming from? Is that really your truth? And is it time to unhook yourself from something? Is it time to transmute your perspective or shift your perspective? You know, and then because the North Node, which is where we're wanting to go, you know, where the North Node is in the sky right now, where these universal forces are kind of nudging us to move in the direction of, is actually the sign of Cancer. So the North Node being in the sign of, you know, Cancer, it's a really, you know, powerful thing. And that has to do with, you know, nurturing. So as these things get shaken up, as we look at how Saturn might still have a grip on us and we consciously shift it, we'll also notice things maybe with partnerships and those dynamics, because it is kind of a mirror. And sometimes it's a mirror of things that are unconscious to us or things that we're not aware of that we get to look at. It's either because it is a contrast to who we truly are, and so it helps us to discover more of who we are, or it's something that we're trying to heal that our partner might, you know, bring our attention to. So so as we, you know, move into, you know, really looking at our partnerships, and we want to emerge out of sort of the Saturn and move into the vibration of, you know, Cancer, the challenge will be, like, in the face of any sort of conflict or stuff that comes up, can we choose to be nurturing? Can we embrace that lunar energy, that nurturing energy of the mother? Can we be more receptive? Can we learn to listen? Can we give to ourselves if we feel triggered? Can we allow ourselves some self-care? Can we give and provide love to the people that might be, you know, the triggering aspects in our life? And so, okay, so with these squared aspects, creating tension with the North Node and South Node, we're going from the confinements of the old Saturn into a recognition of the transformation that's going on, to move into a more nurturing vibration and a more sort of intuitive and receptive energy. And we have the aid of Uranus that's hitting the sun, help us to stand our ground and know, you know, what it means to be true to ourselves. So we also have Mercury conjunct Chiron, and Chiron's the wounded healer. So there's going to be a lot of healing to our throat chakra as we feel more and more encouraged to express our truth when we're trying to work things out, to really, like, know who we are and know what we need to share in order to smooth things out, but also having, you know, that kind of respect that is necessary to nurture relationships. So be very careful of the me thing. That's sort of what the Aries thing can do. And just know you're being challenged to create more harmony and more benefit in the relationships that you have. And that's going to be a strong reflection of what's going on inside of you. So it's going to help you to rebalance some energies within. So yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. And then we have the great part of it, and what makes it awesome, is that we get to work energy. You know, when stuff comes to the surface, it's wonderful. We have the choice to take the higher road, or we can kind of digress and allow it to entangle us in, you know, conflict and strife and drama. And so our words, you know, is our power. We can heal situations, or we can destroy situations based on our word choices. So remember, if conflict comes up, just to, you know, really choose your words wisely and allow this to be a huge healing for, you know, truth, your ability to express your truth. And we almost have everything going on right now to really emerge, you know, out of this old paradigm. And we're going to see the world reflect this, because we're seeing a lot of that in the news. And this is, you know, going on a massive scale, but we're experiencing it in our own way in our personal life. So the sun enters Taurus this weekend, and that's, you know, very grounded, you know, earth energy. And Uranus also, you know, moving into the sign of Taurus, you know, it's still carrying that, you know, the power of like activation. And, you know, in the Taurus energy, it has a lot to do with our health, our self-worth, our health in terms of our self-worth. Do we have healthy self-worth? It also rules things like abundance. It's ruled by Venus. It has to do with, you know, abundance, you know, the beauty of nature, but also the way that we generate abundance for ourselves, whether that's financial or, you know, something else. And it's grounded. So it has to do with, you know, putting, you know, the work in to be able to receive the rewards. Venus enters Aries, and that's a great integration, because Venus, which rules Libra and also rules Taurus, is opposite Aries Mars in the sky. And to have Venus move into Aries just helps that polarity integrate between the Aries and Libra, as, you know, Venus is, you know, the ruler of Libra and Taurus. So that'll also play a part in how it connects with the sun moving into Taurus and also Uranus. And yeah, so just, this is, you know, a really powerful time, and I would make the most of it and just really, you know, seek harmony in relationships, you know, take an assessment of what feels out of balance in your world, and, you know, set some wonderful goals for yourself, because Saturn also rules purpose. But, you know, we're learning to poke our heads through, you know, the control matrix so that we can really work with Saturn on a much higher level. And when we do, it's going to change the lunar frequencies, because we've been dealing with patriarchy, but we heal patriarchy when we raise our vibration and relate to Saturn from our own truth and internal foundation of structure and discipline and the things we want to be responsible towards. And then that will help balance out a lot of those lunar energies that get out of whack when Saturn is constantly wanting to squash it. And this is something that we have to do inwardly, because we win the war within ourselves. We shift energy from the inside out, not the outside in. And so this is a real chance for us to overcome these very detrimental programmings, the imbalance of the masculine and feminine throughout history, and the impact these dark technologies have had on us. We need to know that the ether energy is there. It can help us to purify. And everything going on in the cosmos right now is supporting ascension. It always was coded to do that. So really breathe into it and watch out for those distractions, and just know that you're shifting this world from the inside out, and you are the ascension energy. Okay, well, take care. I hope this was helpful. And I will try and get another one out as soon as next week, you know, hits. If not, you know, I'll definitely, you know, always just make sure I do at least 2 a month. And it's harder for me to do the 10-minute sessions unless, you know, there's a real crisis, but I can interact on the page Cosmic Gaia. You can share how you're experiencing these energies, and just, you know, really feel safe and supported, you know, as we kind of navigate this. You know, ask any questions you want, and yeah, reach out if there's a big crisis, or not even a big crisis, or if you really feel you need to talk, that 10 minutes is still there. But if I don't, you know, I won't be able to do it each month, but I'll make sure I interact on the page and get these reports out. And yeah, and just, you know, check in with the comments and answer any questions. Okay, well, anyway, have a wonderful full moon tomorrow and a wonderful week, and sending love to everyone.